Hey, everybody. We're
Hello.
live.
We sure are.
I have gotten the opportunity to have the illustrious Cher Jones live on Business with Benefits. For those of you on the replay, thanks for coming. And please comment and like and share. The agenda is whatever Cher and I come up with today. I'm here in Georgia in the Atlanta area. Cher is out in Canada. It's cold both places actually today.
Hmm.
It's usually warm and rainy down here, but it's cold there too. Oh, there we go. All right, so thanks for joining in. So, guys, any questions you have? Cher is the expert on social media. I just happen to know a few things here and there. So, if you have any questions about, your exposure, how to get better engagement, it's anything really, what it's like in Canada, whatever you want to ask, go for it. But Cher, we was talking about something before we kind of got into it. I was asking you. Everybody sees in the logo, I use StreamYard for my live broadcasts. But some
Hmm.
people ask about Restream versus StreamYard. So can you kind of give some insight on the two of those? Because you're a phenom with live.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I chose the harder of the two routes, really and truly. I use Streamlabs OBS coupled with Restream. So Restream allows me to broadcast to multiple networks, and
Mhm.
that's all I use it for. So I can transmit to Twitter, Facebook page, as well as YouTube, because I store all my broadcasts on YouTube.
Okay.
And but that's all I use Restream IO for. What I use Streamlabs OBS for is OBS is open broadcasting
Yep.
source or system, and it's a free software. So that's the difference. One,
Yeah.
but here's the real difference: is your computer has to be able to handle it. Has to have the processing power to handle it, because the difference between StreamYard and Streamlabs OBS or OBS is that you are hosting all the software, all the tech.
Uh,
Whereas Streamlabs, it's going to you're broadcasting to the cloud, and then it has all the processing and everything that's going on. So if you're my computer's like a game, literally it's a gaming rig. So it can stream games, like my graphic card's amazing, all that other good stuff. So it's for the nerd in you, and it's not for the faint of heart. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to, like, if you see my broadcast, it's very customized because I actually built my graphics. Yeah, I know, nerd life. I am that girl, that crazy girl, but I built all my graphics by hand. Literally, I built them
yeah.
all. And yeah, so I created a look and feel that is so unique to my show.
Yep.
However, I do not recommend, if just to give background, I have a broadcasting background. So I worked in live sports television. I worked on the pre and the post game show for the Raptors. I worked on highlight, like sports center type shows here in Canada.
Yeah.
And so I was used to that fast paced environment of building and creating while I'm rolling my stuff live, while I'm cutting highlights, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's a lot, but
Yes, it
StreamYard
is.
is like, if you want to be a great host, and that's what you have to focus on, being a great host first, let the technology handle itself.
Uh-huh.
Right. And StreamYard is fantastic for that. There are a few other, I'm looking forward to when Be Live comes over to LinkedIn. I know they're working on their API permission so that they can broadcast that way.
Uh-huh.
StreamYard is great because it just allows you to have this look at your show. Business with Benefits, fantastic looking show. Immediately
Oh.
brings that, absolutely. It brings that credibility. So it allows you to do that easily.
Mhm.
Whereas what I do, it allows me that customized, like that, the ability
Right.
to customize to the next level. And you just got to be able to figure out the tech.
Yeah, that's probably why when I see people use Restream, sometimes with OBS, it comes through pixelated or choppy.
Because their
Must be
computer's not fast enough.
Yes, because I had that issue. I think
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Knott will probably jump in here. Oh, we got a comment from Marav Levine.
Oh, yes, Marava.
If I butcher your name, I know we just connected recently because of Cher, so appreciate the connection and engagement. But yeah, I saw Kelly Knott. She's a friend of mine. We did live recently, and she tried Restream too. It was like it was super pixelated, and like I figured it was a computer. But
Mm-hmm.
thank you for sharing that insight. And
Yeah.
my fanboy in me has to come out now. I've actually watched you on LinkedIn for, gosh, a couple years now. Your live show started what in 16, 15 on LinkedIn?
No, my LinkedIn Live only came out this year. right? So at the very beginning of this year. So I got access to doing live
Mhm.
in I believe it was in June that I got
Okay.
access. It was late. Like I got the second wave of access. I
Okay.
believe
Well, I've
because I
seen your
have
show you posted all the time, your regular show.
yeah, I had originally it was just Ask Cher, and they were like 5 to 7 minute videos, and then I developed my live. So I have 24 episodes. So I've been doing it for about probably like 28 weeks or so live. So
Okay.
yeah.
Loving it. Been watching all the time. So you were part of the reason I wanted to learn Restream and OBS
Aw.
because I figured you were doing something fancier, but it would be beyond my reach. So guys, if you need help with understanding that, that's what Cher's specialty is broadcasting. Mine is not. So that's why it was hard for me to do that. Hey, we got a comment from Demetrius Jones. Thanks for jumping in. And also from Troy Hall. Hey, it's been a while,
Hey,
Troy.
Troy. Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on here. Remember, guys, Carlotta, I forgot to mention you. Carlotta, I met at the LinkedIn Meetup ATL. That was sponsored by Suzanne Spainer. If you ever get to do a LinkedIn Meetup event, do them. Now, Cher, you did one with Ronell, I think, a year or so ago, right?
We did. Well, Ronell has a little twist on his. His is like, I would call it LinkedIn local, grown and sexy, because he doesn't want to call it business and bourbon.
Right.
And so it has a LinkedIn local vibe to it because it's everybody from LinkedIn, but he does like bourbon and whiskey tastings and all that kind of stuff. So he has his little like I said, he picks these special venues. He worries about food and all these really cool stuff. Plus he brings like a stacked panel of guests, and he did it both in Atlanta as well as in Toronto. He's been in other places as well. So definitely something to check out. But like you were saying, LinkedIn locals are fantastic.
Yes.
And I heard that one in Atlanta. I mean, there's so many that happen all the time, but I heard the one that you went to was lit. So
that's how I got to meet Shanae Murray. Shanae and Courtney, I've been kind of watching them online, keeping track of what they're doing. And that's what you got to be there. They kind of bully me into going because
exactly.
Those that know me, I have 3 kids. I usually don't get out a whole lot at night. Nighttime, like, nope, I'm not probably doing it. So they kind of said, you have to go. So that was the first time I met them. Great experience. I highly recommend meeting your connections offline. That's what this platform's for. If you don't ever talk to the people and you're just connections, and I was guilty of that for a long time personally.
Yeah.
The last year and a half has taught me a ton about engagement.
Oh, so, for sure.
I got a question for you. So we're waiting for some people to comment. Oh wait, Nick jumped on here.
That is my LinkedIn brother in arms. I tell you, that is my brother.
For the longest time, I thought he's part of my fraternity. I'm part of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I just made him a Kappa for like a year. I kept saying, "Oh, what's up, bro?" He's like, "I'm an Alpha." Oh my God, I thought you was a Kappa all this time. But thanks for joining in, Nick. I want to ask, what's LinkedIn like for Canada versus the United States? Is there a difference to you, or is it pretty similar?
It's exactly the same. I mean, I'm out of Toronto, and Toronto's like I'm gonna raise our game a little bit here. Toronto is the 4th largest city in North America, so I'm just saying we're not like little small fries over here. But it's exactly the experience is exactly the same. It's really, I think LinkedIn experience, no matter where you are in the world, is really what you make of it.
Yep.
Right? It's really what you're doing with your own online brand presence, as well as the relationships that you create, and really focus on those relationships first. And LinkedIn will feed you.
Yep. I agree 1,000,000%. I highly recommend just meet people, call them. It's the funniest thing when I call a connection and say, hey, we're connected on LinkedIn. They almost stop like, oh, people actually do that. And it's surprising that more people don't do it. But I will recommend when you guys do that, don't tell people when you connect with them and call them. Please do not do that. It's my PSA moment. When you connect with somebody, do not try to pitch them as soon as you connect with them, let alone 5 messages in. Try to make a relationship and know who you're dealing with. That's what I appreciate for the people I've met on LinkedIn. They're not trying to sell me something all day.
Right.
Let's see here real quick. You got a question for me, Cher. Oh, wait a minute. Got some people jumped in. We had Chanel Brooks. You got a cartoon, so I don't even know what you look like. What do you feel like? That's a good question right now. I'm toyed with the idea of the graphic avatar, the photo avatar. What's your thoughts on that?
As far as to use that for your profile picture?
Yes.
The only people I really, unless it's built into your brand, I'm not a fan of it on LinkedIn per se, because the reason why people use LinkedIn is when they're at a networking event and they see your picture,
Yeah.
they will connect it with you, right? One of the reasons why you're building this brand and you're building this presence online is so like you can have the cheers effect offline. So when you walk into a room, everybody knows your name, everybody knows who you are, and you can't quite, unless it's like exactly 100% to your likeness, you can't get it there. Where you can do is you can incorporate that into your graphics in your show, because
Yeah.
I use a Bitmoji in my show. I've been using it for even in my previous videos as well. I think they're fun, but not as your profile picture, because you think about how many times you're looking up to see who this person is.
Right.
You're going to be met with a graphic. I get why some people use it, because there's some people have like certain religious beliefs where they can't get their image on camera and all that, and I get that. But for most people who are not limited by that, and I speak about that respectfully, I don't suggest it. You want to show up like you show up, and then to the nth degree is like, okay, you've got the animated version of you, but what about the over filtered version of you where you don't even look like you anymore?
Right.
And so we got to be careful of that too, because I don't know if you've ever seen the meme where they've got Yoda in his normal Yoda face, and the next one he's got like he's all smoothed out with no wrinkles, no nothing. Yeah. That's not how you show up. You got to show up like you show up. Sure, you can have a better version, the best version of yourself, but it still has to look like you. So talk to Nick if you need to look like you and look awesome.
Yes.
Hook me up. That's the picture you use. That's from the magical Nick, and he can help you.
Yep, that's Nick Nelson. So Chanel, I didn't mean to pick on you. This is to help learn things and teach people. So check out Nick Nelson. He's great at rebranding people and helping you show up as your best self. Between Nick and Cher, they're probably the main two videos I watch on LinkedIn all the time. Yeah. Oh, no problem. We had Bonnie Suzanne Sussman. Said, great points. Thank Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie's awesome. Bonnie is someone you definitely want to add to your network as well. She's just an incredible cheerleader. She has a really cool company called Go Lids, and she's doing some really great, like she's being innovative with how she's incorporating her product into her content. And it's just really cool. She's an innovator to watch. So, and she's an awesome cheerleader and friend. So connect with her for you guys watching.
Perfect. And something I get questioned all the time. So people, honestly, with live, I was scared to do it when I first got access. I got it probably in June as well. But Shanae and Courtney invited me live on their show at first. So when I saw, this isn't so bad. But now to talk to people, they're often saying, well, I don't know what to make up for content. What do I do? Should I do it daily? Probably the main question I get is like, how do you figure out your content strategy for you? Is it kind of you take the whole week and just plan out each day, or are you just going on the fly?
That's a good question. My trainer hat would get on and say, plan. Take a look at, and this is the advice that I don't always follow because time management issues. But that being said, this is best practice advice. It would be taking a look at your week and saying, what are the opportunities for me to be social, to show and tell what's going on in a framing of service, because no one really cares what you're doing unless you are feeding them in the process. And when I say feeding them, what I mean is giving them the nuggets, giving them the things that they can go back and think about or learn from you as a result of what you're putting into play. So if you're going somewhere like yesterday, where I show a lot of my behind the scenes stuff, and so I balance my social life between LinkedIn and then Instagram. So if you want to see what a social media trader does behind the scenes and all the foolishness that I get up to, follow me. It's Cher Jones, ITS Cher Jones, over on Instagram, because that's where I show the behind the scenes stuff of what I do. I was speaking at a university last night, showing that, and I was having technical difficulties with Instagram, talking about that, like all kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, the advice, so going back to your question, the advice is really around taking a look at your week. Where can you be social? That's one thing. Also, taking a look at your 3-month agenda. What are the things that you're trying to accomplish in the next 3 months? At work, are there things that you're working on? Is there a project that's coming out? Is there things that you could be doing? Are there events happening where you can lend your brand? If you're an entrepreneur, are there things that you're launching? Things that maybe you're coming out with a show, and things that you need to get done in advance, and think about the content that will feed into that. But all that content at the end of the day, if it's not serving your audience and only you, no one cares. You've got to always think about your content and how it can serve people. And sometimes it's just going to be off the cuff. You got an idea, you got an inspiration, and you share. And that's all good too.
Yeah, I think that's important to realize too, that people come into thinking their content is always supposed to be about their product or service. And I find most of my most engaging content is about that. I slip in something here and there, but
Mhm.
my thought process, you can click anybody's profile and see what they do. So
Mhm.
you shouldn't talk about that all the time because
Mhm.
they understand. I think that making that relationship's helpful. I find myself snapping pictures with people at events and things like that. And they're like, oh, that's the thing. Like, yeah, that's what LinkedIn's for. I mean, I'm on it all the time.
Yeah.
To catch up with some comments we had, Bonnie say your profile is representation of your professionalism. You
Mhm.
need to balance your personality and attitude. Very true. 100% agree with that.
Mhm.
She also said, I'm her 9,000th connection. And right now to 9,000, that's awesome. Who could have called that? Who could have called that?
That's so funny. But actually, you know what? If you look at that's she probably just connected with you and she knew that it would be 9,000 done and done. So congratulations on your 9,000
Yeah,
connection.
congratulations, Bonnie. It's awesome. We had a good morning from Aletha Carter. Thanks for Aletha for joining in.
Mm-hmm.
And Bonnie also said content by mood a bit for me, but planning is wiser. Hard to pull up when you're very busy.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did a video yesterday in between meetings. I had somebody on the way to see me. Shout out to Kurt Schaefer. He came from Texas and met me down at my
Oh
office.
wow, Kurt's awesome.
He just met me from say, hey, I'm in Georgia this next week, so let's meet up.
Yeah.
And on the way for him to come see me, I did a quick video saying, okay, I got 10, 15 minutes. Let me just do a quick video.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're busy, it doesn't have to be the most polished content, I think.
Exactly.
I think people like raw content sometimes of just,
Mm-hmm.
this is me at the office. Hey, I had a horrible day today. This is what happened.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's absolutely necessary. I struggle with it sometimes because I come from a broadcasting background. So if you looked at my videos that were online, everything that I do is like it's like I play at a higher level that I don't need to be playing at. And this is what I'm trying to get to you. It's funny. I read a post last week and I was so conflicted because it's like what's working on LinkedIn now in 2020. And it's one of the points where, find that level of content that you're not like that doesn't take that much work but still serve. So it's like finding your bliss point in content, right? So it's like just enough. And what I do tons is, in the past, and I'm working on it, and I use Instagram for a lot of that off the cuff content as opposed to LinkedIn, but my money network is LinkedIn. And what I mean by that is this is where business happens for me. Instagram is where more deeper relationships happen. I start my relationships here, bring them over to Instagram, and they become magic, which is awesome. But they still, their magical things happen here. But this is my money network. This is where I get the opportunity to meet people on a platform where I can talk about what I talk about from a business perspective more often than not. So I need to push or poke the bear a little bit, and me being the bear as far as creating that off the cuff content, because I don't do it enough. And I think it is so important. And I see the people who are doing it and I see their engagement numbers jumping. I see the relationships growing. I see their networks building. So you have to do it and get out of your head. I'm like practically speaking to the woman in the mirror right now. You got to get out of your head that content because people actually want to hear from you. But as long as you can, at the end of the day, say to yourself, the reason why people watch this or what people will get out when they watch this is this. So you, whether it's that piece of content was designed to uplift them, to make them laugh, or to give them a little knowledge drop, whatever that is. But you need to know the purpose before you post. Don't just post for posting, because here's one thing I tell, and I start talking, I talk so much, but here's one of the things that I tell everyone. On my show, everywhere I go, I think I say this all the time. Okay. Is your content, every piece of content you put out there is a trust agreement between you and the people you are connected with. The more content you put out there that is solid, that they feel that they got something out of it, whatever the goal was from you, that is totally fine. But the minute you start putting junk on there and they click on it, I think that was a waste of time. That was a waste of time. By 3 wasted times, they don't trust you anymore. And they're going to not trust their 4 seconds that they took to click on your content to figure out it was a waste of time. They're not going to do that. So you have to remember that don't break the trust.
Mm-hmm.
Put your best out there, especially because we have so much content coming at us. When
Yes.
they select your content to read, watch, or look at, that was a choice.
Yep.
And honor that choice by feeding them in the way that you feel they should be fed.
Yeah, I love the intent piece. He said having the intent with the content, because I find myself about to snap a picture, do a video, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's no point to this. There's no value in this. So let me just hold off and think of something better. So I think that's a very wise decision to be intentional with your content, because I think we're all used to some social medias where, like Facebook, for instance, here's me eating lunch.
Yes.
This is my sandwich.
Right.
This is me and the dog. And that's when people say, okay, this is a waste of time. This is why I feel like Facebook has lost its sparkle because of that reason. So LinkedIn, some people start to do that, but you're right. The more you see that junk, you're kind of like, I don't need to see this anymore.
Right.
So for you, this is a common question I get a lot. Oh, we get some a comment real quick. Bonnie said, keep notes on ideas that you have that you may not execute on that day necessarily. Good point.
Yeah.
Time management. I think she's talking about your time management piece when you mentioned I'm having time management problems.
Yeah. One of the things I use to keep notes on, and when I'm working with my coaching clients, one of the things that they all have with me is a OneNote binder. Basically, I use OneNote. It is like, I use it every single day, multiple times a day. I keep all my ideas. When I see a Scrollstopper, I immediately take the link, shove it in my Just Ask Cher OneNote book. All my clients have that. They have a place where they can keep their ideas. And because it works on all platforms, from your phone to your desktop, to your laptop, to your tablet, it is fantastic and is always updated in the moment, all of them. The one thing I want to shout out is, I know Marlon was traveling today and he said, purpose before you post. Nice share. Thanks, Marlon. And thanks for tuning in, because I know you're traveling today. So you said that you would jump in if you could. So we appreciate that.
Thanks for Marlon. He's been a big cheerleader for me. We're both in the insurance space, but totally different kinds of things. But he's been a big cheerleader for me. And I see him there. And we also see Desiree Bonner. She worked with Nick Nelson. You guys, check out her profile. Great avatar. Nick did her a great service making her brand look better. And she put hashtag the knowledge drop. I like that.
Yep.
Marlon also says blue fi. we got the fraternity battles going on.
Yes.
Marlon, we can't do the fraternity battles on LinkedIn Live now. The host is the Kappa, so we can't have that happen now. Quality over quantity from Bonnie. Hey, Tammy, you got Tammy Knight on here now. Tammy, I actually met. Have you met Tammy yet, Cher?
I believe we connected. Let me just double check. Yes, we are connected.
So Tammy, I feel like she just joined LinkedIn initially, right before the LinkedIn meetup ATL, and she and I connected, and then met it. And the funny thing was, I was parking at the event, and I saw her crossing the street, and she saw me as I was parking. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Because you know the face,
right? The face.
If you had a picture, which was like an avatar of a cartoon,
right?
You not totally recognize the person.
Right. I think I know you, but that happens to me all the time when I'm in networking events or in public. People will say, like, I know you. And I'm like, how? Oh, wait, you do the LinkedIn thing. Yeah, that's me. So it hugely helps that. But Tammy runs a great organic laundry detergent. So those of you that have sensitive skin, things like that, definitely check out Tammy Knight. But I was going to ask you, how do you feel about daily content versus weekly content? Because personally, I like daily content, but I wanted to see how you felt about daily versus weekly.
All right. So daily works. I am not a daily content person on LinkedIn, but I should be, because right now the network is rewarding people who are, from an algorithm perspective, the network is rewarding people handsomely for putting out content daily. Again, do not lose sight of my rule around serving people and the fact that it is a trust agreement. So don't just put content out there to put it out there. Yeah. My thing is, because I do attract a lot of engagement and I'm right in my contents all the time, it's like, running a business and I'm training and I'm creating my training is content, literally.
Right.
And so I struggle with it, but I know it's in order for me to up level from where I am, I have to be posting whether it's daily, at least I want to say 3 to 4 times a week would be ideal for this network. I do put out almost daily stuff and stories. This is why I love stories so much. It allows you to put out daily content, but LinkedIn, I know they're testing the story application, but they don't have it yet.
Right.
So that will be awesome when that happens, because then I can focus on that one quality piece of content. Because again, what Bonnie said, quality over quantity any day, it always trumps it. And value over vanity. That's another one that, guys, like, that's straight up a hashtag. Value over vanity. Okay. And recognizing when what's the delineation between the two. But if you can, and this comes back down to time management, which is a skill I am working on hard. You have no idea. I'm actively being intentional. This year has all been about like figuring out what's my system. But if you can intentionally batch create some of your content or plan out some of your content, I highly recommend you will see a significant jump. I know, Anthony, he put his output, or he increased his output, and he's seen a significant jump in profile views. I saw him post about that last week. So it works. It's just your ability to do. And then there's one more responsibility that I want to remind you guys of, is when you put content out there, you can't post and ghost. You've got to be in the content and in the comments. And you also have the responsibility of liking other people's content as well, and engaging with the other people, because they'll get filtered out of the algorithm. So finding that balance, whether that means and this is how I've worked it, and this is how I've seen growth, even with one major piece of content a week. I focused on high value quality content once a week. And then I focused on making sure that I was in the comments responding to every single person. So they know that they were watched, and I send DMs to people, not just responding in the comments, but also messaging people, and then spending the time in your network. So if you don't have the time to do the recommended 4 to 5 posts a week or whatever, focus on quality with the one and be consistent with it. Another piece that I did was appointment-based content. So you guys know every Tuesday at 3:30, I go live. I used to do my videos. I used to drop them every Thursday. I would drop a video. So what I trained my connections, the people that I'm connected to, what I trained them to do is expect that. And when I didn't, they were like, what the F, Cher? Where are you?
What happened?
So that if you are in a position where you can't produce daily content, no problem. Be consistent on the day and time that you put it out there, so people know to come to expect you. But then invest time growing your relationships and in other people's content. Because in the comments, you actually create little pieces of content. Every single time you reply. So don't just say, great job, right? Like reply to reply. And if you spend, let's say, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, sometimes more as your network grows, spending that time just responding to people, maybe having what I call a hit list. So people that you are actively trying to grow relationships with purpose for whatever your goal is, but also people just who show up in your network, people who encourage and support you, spend time in their content. And engaging with them, and you will still grow. You don't have to be an everyday poster. You will still grow. You will not get the same results as an everyday poster, but you're doing it at capacity, right? And in a sustainable way, and then you grow from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's something I live in my notification section on the app or on the computer. I live in the notification section where I'm looking who liked something, who replied, who said a comment. Hugely valuable. And I'm a huge fan of batch content, like Cher said. So if you're at an event, you can actually do video for the events. Let's say it's a 20-minute video. You can chop that down to 10 2-minute videos or something like that. I joked the other day that I was in a networking event without my bow tie, and I said they're going to get me for not having the bow tie. But I had some content I recorded 2 days ago before it that had my bow tie, so I posted that the day of. So it looks like, oh, he had it on every single day, but I did batch content. So there's always time. I would just say just think about what's most important. 2 books I'll recommend y'all, because we're talking about time management over and over again, and I struggle with this too. The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. awesome book that helped you with things like that. And
Mhm.
then the Four Disciplines of Execution.
Mm.
Those two books kind of give me perspective on what should I be doing at this given moment.
Mm.
There's some comments here come out. We got Desiree give a shout out to Nick saying, connect with him to get noticed. Definitely true.
Yes, agreed.
Nick will help you get noticed. Marlon said, love OneNote. I also use it multiple times, and yep, easy to use across platforms. Oh, thanks for saying the love, Marlon, for loving Mr. Bowtie Guy. Tammy says, thanks, Bonnie. Corey, thanks for jumping in, Corey. So awesome input. You must always be marketing myself in your business. Yes. I look at it kind of like with LinkedIn. It's free advertising. For the most part, you can pay for the platform, but all those impressions, it should be important for your calendar. You're getting views and likes and comments from people that probably would never see you in the street. So I think it's vastly important to make it a part of your routine. Do you have like a budget of time you usually set for yourself? Like each day I want to spend an hour on this platform, or is that a process you have for yourself?
Yeah. Usually I like to spend time in the morning, and then whenever my phone distracts me, that I allow the distraction to take place, right? Because sometimes it's like, focus, girl, focus. But usually in the morning when I'm having my coffee, or, after what I've learned to do now, and I think this is really important, this is all part of my time management journey, is not getting on LinkedIn first thing in the morning and really focusing on what's the goal that what's the big goal? What are the smaller picture goals? Like those things, reminding myself every single day of what it is I want to accomplish, and going through what's my day like, so that I can then prioritize that time. But I usually do it in the morning, jump in, because that's when people are on the network in the morning, jump in, and then later on in the evening time, and sometimes when I'm up for late at night for some reason, I find that's a great way to also spend time engaging, especially when I didn't put content out that day. Like that's when I'll go in at night sometimes. And also counterintuitively, the weekend is a great time to engage with people, even going back in and finding their posts, because this is when your notification will stand out and they actually have time to respond to you properly, or notice that because you're not fighting for the same attention that you would during a work day. So at night, on weekends, great time.
Perfect. Okay. Then we had got some more comments here. Say Carletta said, I love stories on Facebook and IG. I don't use LinkedIn, so I'm envious sometimes. When I first started getting deep into social media, I found Facebook and Instagram to distract me, because my network usually is on LinkedIn. Like I need business owners and HR professionals. So usually they're on LinkedIn, but I let other people find success in it. Oh, we got the hashtag already. Desiree made the hashtag, value over vanity.
Value over vanity. I'm telling you all the time.
Follow that hashtag. It's about to be a thing.
And interestingly enough, though, your comment around staying in the one network, which is totally fine. Sometimes we got to pick our poison and know where our time is best spent. The one thing that I can tell a lot of people is taking the pressure off a secondary network where you can build deeper relationships with. And what I mean by that is we can build business relationships here. We can build that credibility, that authority, that trust, which is key to doing business. And even that likability, it absolutely happens here on the network. But here's the opportunity for you to go deeper, is as you build those relationships over on another network. For me, my network of choice is Instagram for my relationship building, is being able to see someone went to a family event, went to a vacation, is doing something, went to a conference, and being able to have those discussions without talking about, hey, I'm a social media trainer and don't do that, do this, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't do it I showed behind the scenes stuff, but so people get to see me and stay top of mind that way. But I also get to pour into other people as well when they're saying they're hurting because of when they post something and you check in, hey, is everything okay? That network allows you to do that in a little bit more of a organic nature. And I have found some of my best referral partners, especially referral partners, guys, have come from deepened relationships on a more personal network where I still be personally professional.
Okay.
So
I'll consider revamping my IG then.
Well, don't think of it like that. Don't think of it like, and that's the thing, is I'm trying to take the pressure off that secondary business, like where you have to position yourself for business. What your bio on your IG allows you to do is, like, if you talk about you're being a dad, a Star Wars lover, a this, a that, like that gives you permission to talk about all of that, because you're not putting it in, it's not LinkedIn. There's so many things that you could think about that are not LinkedIn worthy. Even if you ate something awesome, that's perfect for stories, because we don't need to archive our meals, but we can share them if we feel it was shareable. And it's all about fascination, right? It makes you more fascinating when you can show other aspects of your brand and still show your professionalism and your ability to build relationships, because people will talk to you about, oh, I saw that you went to this event or that movie. How was it?
Yeah,
right?
Really not business. Yeah.
But sometimes that's your way in. Right? So if you're thinking about it strategically, being able to see somebody from you, like you're crossing platforms now. So all of a sudden you can send them a DM. Hey, how was which movie do I want to watch this weekend? I haven't seen it yet. Knives Out. And like, if I saw that someone posted about it, I'm finally going to go see Knives Out. What did you think of it? But you can that intel from Instagram and message them on LinkedIn, but DM them.
Yeah.
Right. When you do, you bring your profile up.
Yeah.
Right? You also bolster the algorithm so that it's telling the algorithm over on LinkedIn that you two are friends every time you DM somebody. So the likelihood of them seeing your posts and you showing up in their newsfeed increases because of the interaction.
Makes sense. Okay. Getting schooled by Cher. This is why it's #JustAskSher.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We also had Marlon said, Tammy, I'm going to check out your product. Thank you for that. Interact with people, check their products out. Bonnie said also it's okay to repurpose content in different ways because the feed doesn't always see it. Very true.
Right.
Go ahead.
Bonnie is also a master at leveraging the content that she creates over using Instagram stories and bringing it, and it's relevant content that she can bring back over into LinkedIn. So if it's relevant, network would care about it, and it makes sense for what you're seeing in the network, go with it. I also noticed that Desiree says I do the same, splitting my time, where I come in the morning to post and then late in the afternoon to follow up and chat. And I love that, because sometimes it's like you just got to figure out in the day. But what you're doing, Desiree, is you are prioritizing this because you're recognizing that this time spent wherever you are online, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's anywhere else, is valuable time, because you can see the results, value through the relationships and value through potential opportunities, and credibility plus visibility equal opportunity.
Yep.
So
that's a long hashtag, but we'll make it work.
All the Cherisms today.
Right. And then Bonnie said, go beyond the accept button. I forgot who made that series that's just push the damn button. I forgot his name. Some guy in Texas that's just talking about making content. That just push the damn button and do it. And I think that's true, because for me, I've been on LinkedIn for about 8 years. And for the first 5 or so, it's probably just me making connections.
Yeah.
I would just about, how many connections do I have? How many connections do I have? And somewhere around 16, 17, I was like, I need to do something with these connections. I just have them. I'll become the bag lady. I just had it and wasn't doing anything with it. So I highly recommend you guys actually engage with people. It could be a simple thanks for connecting. I mean, just that alone is a simple process. Let's just say thank you.
Baby.
Yes,
voice note life. Okay. Another thing that I can say, because I've been around LinkedIn like a long time. I'm talking like 2004 LinkedIn OG.
So you were OG for real.
And but to cut yourself some slack as well, Daryl, is just remembering that LinkedIn only became a robust social network within the last 3.5 years. Let's really be honest. Since they started adding video, the first step into becoming a social network was when they changed their messenger from an email kind of vibe to a text vibe. That was their first step. Then adding in video, that was huge. That was their game changer, right? And then again, going into the whole live and pictures and all that stuff. It wasn't like that 8 years ago. You didn't want to be here. It was Rolodex. It was a place where you applied for jobs. But LinkedIn, this is not your granddaddy's LinkedIn. This has changed. This is huge. This is different. This has now become, they have created this environment where you can truly network at a personal, professional level.
I
And
think
that's what
oh, sorry to cut you out. I think you sent a voice note to, I think, Darlene Evans. Actually, this is funny. So I put a kudos thing for Darlene Evans. She does Lean Sigma 6 consulting and stuff like that. And I mentioned, she said, hey, I'm horrible at social media. I need help with that. I was like, oh, you got to talk to Cher. And then Cher sent her a voice message, and she's never gotten a voice message on LinkedIn. So she texted me like, what is this? How do I play this? What is this? I'm like, just push the play button. Oh, we'll show it up first. Thank you. But I'm glad you made that connection that quickly. Like I told her that day. She looked you up. You sent her a voice note already happening.
Yep. It is, and it matters. And it's so, when you can, especially because we're in this world of bots, because LinkedIn is overrun with people who are using automated messaging. And I'm not a user, and I won't be a user. It's not my thing. I'm so not team automation. I get why some people use it. I'm not here to like strike it down. But all I'm saying is that in this world of automation, when you can humanize your interaction with people, you stand out. When someone hears a voice of the profile, it's like, whoa, this is like a real person.
A real person, yeah.
It elevates your relationship, or accelerates. That's a better word. It accelerates the relationship because it's immediate connection. Anything human is like just so much more powerful. And that's why video is so powerful. That's why live is so powerful. The interesting thing with live, though, I'm so on the fence with it, because you will get much more traction. So Richard Moore actually does a really good job with this. And I'm taking a page right out of his book, is cutting down the nuggets from our lives and repurposing them into video, just simply because the live, we're seeing what the traction is going to be like. I used to, when it was less people doing live, I got a ton of reach, and also the interest and fascination of this whole live thing was there. But we're just finding that anything I post, if I should post a short video, I'm getting way more reach. If I post a picture, I could get way more reach. So it's interesting, this whole live concept. I love it, and it really gets people who are your ride or dies like in there, and I love them. And but you also have to look at, so those of you who are like envying the live thing, it's cool, but there's other things you can be doing that will get way more reach than a live. I'll tell you that much. So at the end of the day, your content, but why I was bringing all this up to circle back is just, live really is like what you see. This is Cher, unfiltered, on like what you see is what you get right now. And that's where you build that trust, and that, because of what you're talking about, and people can see that, you didn't, I'm not a LinkedIn person, a LinkedIn expert. I don't even call myself that, although I believe I am. I didn't just show up like this. I didn't just show up and start regurgitating stuff because I've been on LinkedIn for 2 years and started using it. No, like I said, I've been a LinkedIn OG, and I have pictures of my profile from 2011. That's the first time, because that's when I start really talking about this and doing this kind of thing, and calling myself a social media trainer from way back then. So I didn't just show up like this. And the whole point of me, and this is not about bragging, but the whole point is to say that when you hear me speak, just like when anybody else is an expert in your space, you didn't just show up doing what you're doing, Daryl. You know what I mean? You know what you're doing. And when you have a conversation, or you hear somebody in their content, and you can hear that they're just not 1 click deep or 2 click deep, like they go way deep in what they know, and they're good for no matter what. That's where the beauty of content comes into place, especially things like live, because it humanizes me, but it also reassures you that I didn't just wake up like this. I wasn't born big. I figured this stuff out along the way. So,
it's super important. I think it's important with live because you get that credibility, like you said, to see, okay, let me ask a question to see if you know what you're talking about. I have people put me on the spot sometimes live, which I appreciate that. We have some new comments from Taria Simpson. It's a great content. Sorry. Thanks for that. Phelan Schultz, thanks. We just connected recently. Thanks for commenting. She with the high five emoji. Bonnie said use the voice feature on messaging. The algorithm is tracking that. And she said, Cher, you're doing that a lot.
Well, I'm in Bonnie's voice. Like, that's how we talk. We don't type anymore. We just like voice notes. And it's always like these big blocks of blue going down into our DMs. It's crazy.
I love it. And then Nick Nelson, again, thanks for engaging us again, Nick. Authenticity over automation.
Damn right.
Might be a hashtag. I don't know.
I'm telling you, there's full of them today. We're going to have to go back and archive this and like figure out all the goodness that came out.
Yep, and then we had Tari actually said, I'm going to try to do the voice notes today. So you've
Yeah.
inspired one user, which is helpful. And that's one thing I think you guys should understand. You shouldn't be hooked up on the vanity numbers. It's very hard, but when you post content, you're like, oh, I only saw 5 likes.
Mm.
I only saw 10 likes.
Mm.
I've had more engagement from people that don't do a thing with it. Like they don't like it or comment. And they say, hey, great videos.
Yeah.
And I'll look back like, you've never said a single thing
Yeah.
about what I'm doing. So don't get hooked up on that. I would just get hooked up on leaving a message out there. Because that's what matters. If you focus on the numbers, you'll never do content because
Mm-hmm.
I'll do something I think is awesome. Like this is going to go viral,
Mm-hmm.
10 likes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to learn over time, like just keep on doing it. There's a shiny area somewhere on the edge of the rainbow, but
Mm-hmm.
just keep on doing it. Do you kind of feel the same way with the vanity numbers don't matter that much for your content?
I know that they don't matter. Okay, I'm like on the fence because vanity metrics are still metrics.
Right.
They are a reflection of your reach, but it's like this whole building your brand online or building an online presence. It's like a head and a heart, like it's like a head and a heart issue as well. Like it's a mindset thing, and you can't let it stop you because what happens is one day something will tank, and you'll be like, "What the hell? This was so good! I can't believe people didn't see. I didn't get the views." And sometimes it's just the network.
Yeah.
Right? And what it is you will also find that people offline, because 90% of the people who see your content ain't clicking anything and they watch the whole damn thing, right? But they will come, oh, I love your videos. And you're like, what?
Yep.
I didn't even know you saw them. So that's cool. And then so you can use the vanity metrics to measure progress, not validation. So
that's good, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a significant distinction because you have to get out of the mindset because it's not easier. It's not easy. Like it's easier said than done to like just feel validated by these numbers. We all do. It feels good. That is, social media was designed so that we are addicted to the validation. Don't get it twisted. There are psychologists. Everything is embedded into this to why we are back on the networks, because the networks business model is for us to see the ads, right?
Yeah.
As layman users, we're there to see the ads. If you're not on the network, if you're not addicted to it, you're not going to see it. So ultimately, this was designed for the notifications to excite us and be like, oh, I'm doing great. But if you can compartmentalize that and be like, you know what? I cannot gain value out of that. I cannot measure value based off of that.
Yes.
Right. And especially when you are intentionally leading with value of your content, that you're going to serve. It's vanity. You're not going for the vanity. You're going for the value over vanity. So you got that. So let me just summarize where I'm at. So it's like you're focusing on value. You are not allowing the metrics to validate you, but what you are using them is you're using them to measure your progress. So you can say month over month, based off of my activity, I'm seeing my numbers go up. Yeah. That's what, and you can directly connect it to that. You can also use there's a metric that a lot of people don't know about. It's called your SSI score. So social selling index score.
Yeah, I've seen
on
that.
LinkedIn. The way that you get there, and do not allow this to run you too, because this can get in your head as well, is you go to LinkedIn, you have to do it from your desktop, linkedin.com/sales/SSI. It will give you an overall rating for your brand and your presence online. It will also give you a percentage score based off of your network as well as your industry. Use these numbers, again, not to validate you, but to measure your progress.
I'm going to share that in the comments for everybody so they can find it real quick before we get out of here. LinkedIn.com. So, of course, my keyboard puts the space when I don't want it to.
Of course, right?
/SSI.
Yeah, it's an incredible, again, all the numbers. So it's like, we hear all the, oh, don't worry about the vanity numbers. Yeah, good, nice try. But you have to just frame them in the way of measurement. Right? And just track your numbers, track your profile views. Are they going up with in alignment with your activity? When you see it go down, that's also an indicator that, okay, I'm not doing what my goals say I should be doing.
Yep.
Right.
Inspect what you expect. Good old saying, just inspect what you expect. So, and I think it's important when you said month over month.
Yeah.
Don't get focused on like one day.
Exactly. With that one piece of content, sometimes, trust me, sometimes it's like, and I allow it sometimes to get in my head as well. And this is so I'm like really preaching to the choir right now. It's like, don't allow the fear of your content not doing as well stop you, because you might just be blessing that one or two person that might just convert. All you need is one
Yeah.
call. All
Yep.
you need is one call. I'm just saying. Right.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things where it's just like, you just have to just keep trucking, just keep learning from what's working as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And one thing that I always remind people when I'm speaking is, if you kind of sort of try, you kind of sort of get results. So you've got to put the work. Social media doesn't work unless you do the work.
Yep. It's like that new campaign that said okay is not that good, or I forgot what the company was. Yeah. But when okay is not just good enough.
Yeah.
Bonnie had a comment. Well, she had Coco Lorraine Vieira.
Hey, Coco.
Hey, Coco. Focusing on trying to control the outcome isn't our job. Yes. You cannot control the outcome at all.
Yes.
I wish my bank account would say a lot more zeros than if I could control the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie said one person, one opportunity can equal big change. You can have 10,000 views and not one opportunity arises or relationship develops. True. I used to get hung up on, and Cher Jones, shout out to Cher Jones. I've loved her content for a long time. I used to always see her like, man, if I could only have that many views, but that doesn't matter. It's really about the engagement. Desiree says use the numbers to measure the value of the content and not the validation. Perfect.
Yeah.
And understand that. Oh, looks like Nick giving a shout out to Desiree. And okay, we got the shout outs going on. So guys, I want to get Cher out of here. I want to be respectful of her time. Did you have anything else you want to leave the wonderful world of LinkedIn right now while you're leaving business with benefits?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I kind of like dropped that, if you kind of sort of try, you kind of sort of get results. Things, please remember that, guys. Also, just remember that it's know your why, know why you're out there.
Yep.
And it's all about that value over vanity. You got to make sure that you're doing that. And over time, credibility plus visibility. So credibility on how you show up, credibility in your profiles, how you articulate what it is you do and how you serve, as well as your visibility, what you show up through. You show up through the comments, through you show up in DMs, through you show up with your content itself. That will create the opportunity for you. And it's relationships. They matter. We talked about these are all these pillars that we talked about, and it is so integral to your success. And you talked about like controlling your bank, wishing we could control our bank account, but we control the activities that can incrementally create the bank account that we want.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And how we use our time, how we're using social, how we're leveraging the relationships and staying focused. And it's not always easy, and it takes work. And sometimes it's like you got to remember that this stuff takes time, and you didn't wake up like this. It works just like in your career. You took time to get here. Everything that you use, everything you've experienced, you are in one way or another applying to the work that you do. So just work on it and it'll come. And there's so much free information out there to get you started. And if you want to go deeper, if you really are having trouble articulating that purpose or having a strategy for that content, that reoccurring content, or your strategy on how to get noticed in this online space and what makes sense for you, what's your strategy? Hey, just DM me. We'll have a conversation about it and go from there.
Cher is definitely the expert, and always remember that people that get good results make good choices. That's really all it comes down to. So thanks for giving us your attention. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with us.